everybody, and welcome back to another ASMR video. I thought I would do this one on my phone real fast because this is my cat, Witford. I call him this because he is my white-furred friend. I was calling him that when I first met him. He's a stray cat. And I kept saying, "Hello there, my little white-furred friend." And then, over time, it just kind of morphed into Whitford. So I've known this guy for about 4 years. He's not normally this relaxed. Usually he's kind of all over the place, or maybe he will kind of pop around or whatnot, but he seemed pretty relaxed for a moment, so I thought I would try and do a little video with him, maybe get some of his purrs. I have a little mic on this side. Maybe I can get some of his purrs here. Leave it right there. So I've known him for about 4 years, and I really kind of started feeding him when he came around in my backyard. It was kind of about the same time I lost another cat, so I felt it was kind of an interesting timing. And it's been mostly like an indoor-outdoor cat. I kind of let him in and feed him, and then let him go out during the day. Just kind of let him do whatever he wanted. And then he started getting in fights with other animals. So then I started bringing him at night, because that's when a lot of the fights seemed to be happening. He'd come back in the morning with a lot of scratches or tufts of hair under his claws, whatnot. So started bringing him in at night, and then he became like an outdoor during the day. Move this mic real fast. I'm not sure how well it'll pick up. I want to try and get it to pick up some of the purrs if I can from him. So I would, basically when I found out he was kind of more getting in fights with the other cats and maybe raccoons, I started bringing him in when it got dark, and then I'd let him out in the day. I don't know exactly where he's from. At one point I had a AirTag collar on him, and I noticed that he would kind of go kind of a large distance away from my house, which was fine, because I kind of figured I would just see him, feed him. Maybe one day he would kind of go about his way and I might not ever see him again, kind of like a natural approach. But I started bringing him at night and caring for him a little more, and then so if you fast forward about 2 years, maybe 2.5 years, which turns out to be a couple months ago, he started just staying inside all the time and not really caring about going outside, which I was alright with. Then he started staying in a closet, I started wondering what was going on with him, and so I took him to a vet, and he needed some dental work. So last month I took him to get a bunch of dental work done, and the vet recommended he stay indoors, which I feel is kind of, I'm not sure how I feel about that, because he's an animal. He likes to be outside. He did like to roam, and he'd go sit in the sun and just kind of enjoy outdoor life. But ever since his dental work, about a month or so ago, I've kept him indoors, and that's kind of where we're at now. I bought a little backpack for him, and I've been trying to take him out on adventures because I think he still likes being outside. It seems like he's kind of adjusted pretty well to being indoors, but he does still love to at least look out the window. He'll sometimes wait by my kitchen door, my main door, that I'd let him out, and so I do think he kind of misses it, so I try to take him on little adventures and just get him to the park or whatnot whenever I can. But so far it's kind of a learning experience. I took him to a few photo shoots. I do commercial photography as a freelance, that's like my freelance job. And so I took him to a shoot, our client shoot, which is a week-long shoot. I took him there last week, and he seemed kind of nervous, kind of apprehensive on stuff, but he seemed to do all right. So he's kind of learning how to be like an indoor cat, or like kind of my little partner in crime. So the idea is now he's going to be indoor all the time, that I want to take him on little adventures or take him to work if I can. So that's kind of his backstory. He's a very independent little dude, sort of feisty, very sort of stubborn, but also I feel like he trusts me a decent deal. It's kind of nice. But yeah, this is one of those rare times that he's kind of just laying down and let me rub him. Sometimes he'll purr so super loud, it's really cool to listen to. I might actually take a moment to raise this camera, or just kind of widen it out real fast, so you can kind of see all of him. Maybe I can get some brushes down a little bit more towards his tail. Just kind of gently brush. He starts getting a little curious. Might roll over onto that microphone. Maybe you can hear some of those purrs. How you doing, little guy? Let's see if I can move this mic. This is kind of the louder purrs that I'll do. I really like it. this brush I'm using is one of his favorite brushes. Kind of just a wood brush. Not sure what kind of bristles it has. Pretty sure there is some kind of synthetic bristle. There is a picture of a cat on the handle, and I got it because another friend of mine who is really into cats, she has this same brush, and she'll post stories on her Instagram, and her cats will actually, if they're rubbing their face kind of like so, the cats will grab it with their paws and pull it closer, and it's just so adorable. So I got it because, like any cat lover does, they think their cat might do the same cute things, and tried it on Witford here, but no such luck. He does love it though, but he's not so much a paw user actually, which I find kind of fascinating. Sometimes I'll see him like try and lick all the food out of his bowl, and I'm wondering why he doesn't use his paws to kind of maybe hold it down if it's moving. He would on my kitchen door to go in or out. If it's like a little bit of a crack open, he knows how to use his paws he would know how to use his paws to kind of pry the door open, but that's really all he does for using his paws. But as for the brush, he does like this brush. He has another favorite, which is this one here, which I may not use for a minute because I think that one, I don't know how else to put it, kind of gives him energy, if that makes sense. This wooden brush seems like more of a relaxing brush. So when I use this with him, he kind of lays down and just relaxes and just maybe falls asleep. The other one sort of gets more hair out and kind of gives probably maybe more of a clean feeling or a dethatching feeling, which could maybe feel like, the best way I can think of is maybe like a fresh shower when you've gotten out and you're ready to start your day and have a little more energy. And I feel like that's kind of what this gray brush does. But I think that one's his most favorite because of that reason. So for this video, I feel like this one makes the most sense because obviously we want him to be as relaxed as we can. Just doing gentle little brushes. If he falls asleep, usually I can kind of move him around and touch his paws without him being so jerky. He's kind of a jerky cat actually, like his movements are always very quick and random, and jerky is the best way to put it really. He loves his face being rubbed. So when I use the gray brush, he loves really good face rubs. And he likes a lot of pressure. Like sometimes he's laying down, I'll push a lot of pressure down on his face. And he just loves it. feels like he's probably fallen asleep by now. Well, I feel like his tail would probably have stopped moving if he was asleep, but sometimes not. I have this theory that a cat is 3 entities. You have basically the kind of shoulders and front legs and head, this kind of area here. It's kind of all one little entity. And then I have a theory that from the shoulders down to the back legs is a whole other entity. And then the tail is its own entity. And there's been a handful of times where little Witford here has been sitting with me, curled up in a ball or something, maybe looking at me or just watching. We have cat TV, which is birds and stuff. Or if I'm just talking to him or brush him, sometimes his tail will be right by his face and it'll be flipping and flapping, and it'll it appears to surprise his face, like he didn't know that tail was there. So it makes me feel like there's a whole other entity inside a cat that controls the tail. I mean, it's separate from the head and the shoulders and arms. So I was going to give him gentle little brushings on the face. Maybe I can do a couple little hand brushes. Maybe do some little streaks across his fur. Make some cool little lines. Starting from the neck, across the back, along the side, all the way down to the tail. Do another row, and do another row. Maybe do a full palm all along the back. Start with the thumb across the face, ever so slightly, rubbing those little front whiskers, listening for some very gentle purrs. Maybe I can take this second microphone. See if you can hear any little purrs. From my point of view here, just ever so slightly. Just a few little purrs. Just gonna rub just along his back. Making little gentle rubbing motions. Some little taps, 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 taps. More little pinches, little pinches. Just little pinches, little pinches. Little pinches of fur. Just little ones. Trying not to disturb his ears. Trying to get those just little gentle purrs coming in. Just a little curious head lift going on. You're just a little bit of purring. See if I can set this right by his back. I might, before we're nearing the end of this video, just kind of grab this brush, see if we can get just a little bit of hairs. See, this brush is much better for collecting the hairs. And that brown one will kind of just pull them off the surface and then let them fly all over. They'll be kind of getting in my nose during this recording. But this one is much better, just kind of collecting them. Sometimes I'll do a brushing session with him and see if I can just fill the whole brush up. Might switch back to this regular brush. He seems like he's sort of starting to wake up. I might have to end the video a little early. I might just calm this one just a little bit. If he goes back to sleep, I'll keep it going, but if he kind of gets up and he starts kind of doing this sort of licking, he's just about ready to hop up out of the chair and go do something else. So, I might wish you a good night.